Hi everyone, welcome to Silent Reflections, a channel where we share knowledge and personal growth through great books. In this week's video, I'm really excited to introduce you to Atomic Habits by James Clear. Habits are like a double-edged sword. Good habits can lift you up, helping you build a better and better life. But on the flip side, if you keep feeding bad habits, they'll quietly pull you backward over time. That's why it's not an exaggeration to say, whoever masters their habits, masters their life. So, take a moment and ask yourself, are you actually making progress each day? Or are you pretty much the same as you were a year ago? Still stuck with no real changes or breakthroughs? Now, building and maintaining habits isn't a brand new topic, and chances are Atomic Habits isn't unfamiliar to many of you. Before I read this book, I had already gone through plenty of others about forming habits. Some dove deep into psychology, while others shared tips and practical techniques. What sets Atomic Habits apart is James Clear's style. It's structured, practical, and incredibly concise. Instead of relying only on willpower to stick with a habit, the key is to change from within, turning it into a natural part of who you are. So let's dive deeper into this powerful book together. I'm confident it'll give you fresh insights and real value you can bring into your own life. Live like the bamboo. The American psychologist William James once said, sow an action and you reap a habit, sow a habit and you reap a character, sow a character and you reap a destiny. And it's true, good habits are the foundation for building a better life. Yet in reality, we often overlook or underestimate the small changes we make in our daily lives. Why is that? It's simple. We tend to convince ourselves that in order to achieve big success, we need to take huge, bold, dramatic actions. That mindset makes many of us forget the power of small, consistent steps, tiny efforts that may seem insignificant, but quietly create massive change over time. Losing persistence, on the other hand, is like a fatal blow. It keeps us from sticking with our efforts long enough to actually see results. The root of the problem is that we don't recognize the hidden power of small changes. But if you stick with them, they create a compounding effect throughout your life. In Atomic Habits, James Clear gives a powerful example. If you get just 1% better each day by the end of a year, you'll be 37 times better than when you started. But if you decline by 1% each day, a year later, your potential will almost hit rock bottom. Some might dismiss this as just a dry comparison, but instead of doubting, try it for yourself. You'll feel the difference small changes can truly make. When you haven't actually started making changes, jumping to quick conclusions is just an excuse for procrastination. The truth is, small improvements can bring big results because habits are the way we compound interest our lives. But here's the catch. In practice, we often expect instant results. We think every effort will pay off right away. In reality, building good habits is rarely a straight line. It's more like a curve. At the beginning, when you're just adjusting your habits, you might not notice much change. In fact, it may even feel harder than before. At that point, the curve seems flat or even dipping downward, and that's when many of us fall into what James Clear calls the valley of disappointment. This is the stage where people begin to doubt their efforts and give up too soon. But if you can push past that threshold, the positive results will eventually show. Breakthroughs almost always come late. That's the nature of compounding. The strongest results come only after a long period of steady accumulation. It's like the law of quantity and quality in philosophy. When a certain quantity builds up enough, it transforms into a new quality. That moment of breakthrough is when your small, steady efforts suddenly unleash enormous power. Think about the bamboo plant. In the first 5 years, no matter how ideal the environment, you'll hardly see it grow at all. But after 5 years, it shoots up at an incredible pace, about a foot a day. In just 6 weeks, it can reach nearly 90 feet tall. Why does that happen? Because during those first 5 years, the bamboo was quietly growing deep roots underground, building a strong foundation to support its extraordinary growth later. We're no different. Just like bamboo, to achieve lasting success, we need patience and persistence with small changes, even if they don't show immediate results. The deeper the roots, the taller the growth. In the same way, by nurturing good habits and staying consistent, you'll gradually build a stronger, better version of yourself. So remember, no change is ever too small to matter. Never underestimate your daily efforts. Those tiny steps are the building blocks of your life. Live like the bamboo, patient, resilient, and ready to rise high when the right time comes. If you only aim for the goal, you'll fail. When we focus only on the outcome, we're actually trapping ourselves in a narrow mental cage. It's a risky way of thinking because it carries a common illusion. When I achieve this goal, then I'll be happy. But that mindset is nothing more than an invisible chain. It ties your joy to some future success instead of letting you enjoy the journey you're on right now. The truth is, even when you finally hit that goal, the happiness you were expecting might never fully show up. In fact, sometimes it leaves you feeling empty. Why? Because the human mind quickly shifts to the next milestone, the next target, and the cycle of expectation starts all over again. When you're too focused on the finish line, your motivation usually comes from a thought like, I have to get there no matter what. Sure, that can push you forward in the short run, but once you've crossed the line, that fire tends to burn out just as quickly. That's why so many people slip back into old patterns and habits right after achieving a goal. It's a loop you can break only by realizing this. Building habits isn't about chasing a goal at all costs. It's about creating a system of continuous improvement. So how do you avoid the trap of results-only thinking? First, let go of the belief that your habits exist just to get you to a single finish line. Instead, shift your focus to the process, the here and now. Don't save your happiness for some future success where you finally allow yourself to enjoy it. You don't need to imagine a perfect future scenario just to feel content. Happiness should be lived in the present, through the daily steps of building and maintaining your habits. When you focus on the process, not only do you feel more fulfilled in the moment, but you also gain the persistence and resilience to keep going. And that's the key to sustaining habits over the long term. Remember, changing yourself isn't a race to the finish. It's an ongoing journey of becoming. Real success isn't about hitting one specific milestone. It's about becoming a little better every single day along the way. In the next part, we'll dive deeper into how to build an effective, lasting system of habits. But for now, remind yourself of this. Joy isn't in the final result. It's in the steps you're taking right now. Stay present, enjoy the journey, and happiness will naturally grow out of the small efforts you make every day. The secret to building lasting habits. understanding your identity. Research shows that behind every action we take lies a system of beliefs. Any behavior that doesn't align with our deeper sense of identity is hard to sustain over time. So, what does this mean? The key lies in two concepts: identity and belief. To change your behavior in a lasting way, you need to clearly understand your identity and build beliefs that support it. Start with this question: who do I want to become? Before setting a habit, your beliefs need to align with the person you want to be. Your identity, the way you see yourself, is what shapes your behavior. When you strongly believe in a particular identity, the actions that reinforce it become easier and more consistent. Even better, those repeated actions strengthen your belief, making your identity more solid over time. This creates a sustainable cycle of growth, helping you keep improving and even shaping your destiny. For example, if you want to stick with running, see yourself as an athlete. I am a runner. If you want to read more or write a book, embrace the identity. I am a creator. Without clarity on who you want to be, your actions will often feel half-hearted. Worse, you might feel drained or pressured just trying to keep up with a habit. Habits are an expression of who you are. That's why before you act, you need to know who you want to become. From there, you can design a system of habits that fit that identity, helping you build a happier, more fulfilling life. From this perspective, we can also flip the thinking to realize something important. Stop labeling yourself or others. Negative labels can become some of the biggest obstacles on the path of growth. For instance, parents often want their kids to be disciplined and focused, but when they see them watching TV or playing too much, it's easy to snap and say, "You're so lazy." Labels like lazy, careless, or irresponsible, when repeated, can turn into self-fulfilling prophecies. The child starts to believe those labels, and their behavior begins to match that belief. Labeling is basically imposing an unwanted identity on yourself or on someone else, and that blocks growth and change. Instead of labeling, try encouraging with positive affirmations of identity. For example, instead of saying, "You're lazy," say, "I know you're hardworking. Just a little more effort, and you can do this." Words like these help build a positive belief, motivating real behavioral change. Remember, the beliefs you hold about yourself are the root of all lasting change. Choose positive identities, and from there, build a system of habits that not only help you achieve your goals, but also help you become the very best version of yourself. The basic logic of how a habit is formed. Before you start making changes, you need to understand how a habit actually works. This isn't just casual knowledge, it's the key to truly grasping the deeper nature of repeated behaviors. Without this understanding, you'll keep struggling, starting something, then dropping it halfway. In his book, The Power of Habit, Charles Duhigg breaks down the habit formation process into 4 simple steps: cue, craving, response, and reward. Here's how it works. 1. Cue. This is the trigger that kicks off the habit and reminds you to act. For example, when you hear a notification ping from Facebook, that's your cue. 2. Craving. That sound sparks curiosity. You want to know who messaged you and what they said. This craving is the driving force behind your action. 3. Response. You grab your phone, open the app, and check the message. That's your action to satisfy the craving. Reward. Once you read the message, you feel satisfied because your need has been met. This cycle doesn't just apply to checking Facebook texts or email. It's the same loop behind almost everything we do. Getting dressed, putting on shoes, brushing our teeth, or grabbing a snack. Once a habit is formed, it runs on autopilot. You barely even think about it. Let's look at a familiar example. You tell yourself you'll read 20 pages tonight. But as soon as you sit down on the couch, you pick up your phone, scroll through Facebook, then open TikTok, turn on the AC, and lie down to relax. Before you know it, the whole evening has slipped away, and you haven't even touched your book. Why does this happen? Because you unconsciously triggered an old habit loop. Actions like scrolling your phone or watching videos are already part of a system of habits you've built. They kick in automatically without much thought and keep repeating themselves. Good or bad, every habit runs through this same 4-step cycle. The scary part is, once a loop is in motion, it's really hard to stop. That's why, if you want to break bad habits and build good ones, you have to understand exactly how they're formed. So the question is, how do you take the right action? Discover the 4 steps to building lasting habits. Building and sticking to a habit isn't always easy, but if you master the basics, you can make good habits feel like a natural part of your everyday life. Here are 4 key steps to help you do just that. Step 1, make it obvious. Vision is our strongest sense. It accounts for about 90% of the information we take in from the world. That's why visual cues are so powerful when it comes to triggering habits. For example, if you want to read more but your books are tucked away on a high shelf or hidden in a cabinet, chances are you'll forget about them. Instead, place your books where you can actually see them, on your desk, next to the couch by your bed, or even in your bag. Personally, I always carry a small book with me so I can sneak in a few pages whenever I have free time. The same principle works for breaking bad habits. If you snack too much in the afternoon, don't leave candy and chips on the counter. Replace them with fruit or healthy nuts. If you're trying to cut down on social media, delete the addictive apps or keep your phone out of sight. Without those visual triggers, the bad habits start to fade. Step 2, make it attractive. The easier and more appealing a habit feels, the more likely you are to stick with it. 2 strategies really help here: habit stacking and temptation bundling. Habit stacking. Pair a new habit with something you already do. For instance, after changing out of your work clothes, put on your gym shoes and head straight to the gym. After your morning coffee, spend 15 minutes reading. Temptation bundling. Combine a habit you need to do with something you enjoy. I used to struggle with journaling, but I love taking photos. So now, I snap a picture of something interesting each day and jot down a few lines about it. That way, I'm doing both, and it feels enjoyable, not forced. You can also lean on group support. Joining a running club or a class makes it harder to skip because no one likes being called out or left behind. Step 3, make it easy. The biggest rule here is reduce friction. Make it as simple as possible to follow through. If you want to work out, pick the gym that's closest to your home instead of stressing over price or equipment. What matters most is making the start effortless. Another great trick is the 2-minute rule. Start small with actions that take just a couple of minutes. Instead of aiming to read 50 pages a day, begin with just 1 or 2. The point isn't instant performance, it's getting started. Life is full of tiny crossroads. Scroll through your phone or read a few pages, cook at home or eat out. Stack up enough of those right choices, and over time, the results are huge. On the flip side, if you want to kill a bad habit, make it harder to do. Delete the apps that waste your time or set barriers so playing games or scrolling endlessly becomes inconvenient. Step 4. Make it satisfying. The biggest reason bad habits stick is that they feel good right away. Snacking, gaming, or scrolling TikTok gives instant pleasure, even if the downside shows up later. Good habits usually work the opposite way. The benefits are long-term, but the payoff isn't immediate. That's why it helps to make them more enjoyable. One simple method is to track your habits. Use a habit tracker, stick it on the wall, and mark it off every time you complete the habit. That little sense of accomplishment adds up and motivates you to keep going. But keep 2 things in mind. Be consistent. Missing a habit once is fine, but missing it twice in a row makes it much easier to quit altogether. Don't make tracking the goal. The tracker is just a tool. What matters is actually improving yourself, not just filling in the boxes. These 4 steps make it obvious, make it attractive, make it easy, and make it satisfying, are the foundation for building good habits and breaking bad ones. And remember, success doesn't come from huge changes overnight. It's built from small, steady actions that compound over time. Good habits are the first building blocks of a meaningful, sustainable life. I want to share with you once again some of the key takeaways from this book. First, the book highlights a core principle. Building habits is just like compounding interest. It's a steady, long-term journey that requires consistent investment of time. But our lives are finite, and time is the most valuable resource we have. So how do you know if you're actually investing in the right habit? The answer lies in discovering what you're both good at and genuinely enjoy. The author points out that finding the right path isn't only about liking something, it's also about noticing if you can handle the struggles in that area more easily than others. If something feels draining to most people but energizing to you, that could very well be your strength and your true direction. Second, remember that habits have their limits and their traps. When something becomes too automatic, it can slip into mediocrity and stagnation. If all you ever do is repeat the same routine without adding any spark of innovation, you'll never reach breakthroughs. So instead of seeing habits as a straight road, picture them as a series of curves. Each new curve is a chance to practice with intention and push further. This kind of intentional practice, often called deliberate practice, is the highest level of training. It's where you give your full focus, enter a state of flow, and immerse yourself so deeply that distractions fade away. Once you reach that flow state, you need to keep refining, keep pushing, and keep sharpening your skills until you reach mastery in your craft. Third, don't forget the importance of self-reflection and evaluation. Never let your personal identity become a cage that locks you in. Yes, beliefs and identity are essential when you're building habits. But if you tie too much pressure to them, you'll end up discouraged the moment you fall short of a goal. Instead, stay flexible, be consistent, but also willing to adapt so that you're always moving forward. Finally, the beauty of small habits is that they don't just add up. They multiply, they compound, and they transform your life in powerful ways. When you establish one solid habit, it often triggers a ripple effect of other positive changes. For me, building a reading habit completely changed my life. It's not only the knowledge I gained, but also the shift in perspective, the way I think, and the actions I take every single day. If you can find a meaningful starting point in your life and fully commit to it, you'll open the door to life-changing, even extraordinary transformations. Think of the habit system as your ultimate tool for creating a life filled with purpose and meaning. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to share it with someone who might need it. Hit that like button to support the channel, and most importantly, leave your thoughts in the comments below so we can learn and grow together. And of course, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss my upcoming videos. Once again, thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.